No?
Oh,
Just kidding.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most noteworthy or memorable moments from the life and career of Dick Van Dyke.
Look there. A trackless jungle, just waiting to be explored.
Number 10, that Coldplay video, All My Love.
What is love? It certainly is a feeling of caring about the welfare and the life of the other person, as much as you care for yourself.
Nobody ever accused the iconic Dick Van Dyke of sitting on his laurels as a performer. This living legend of Hollywood starred in this music video for the Coldplay song All My Love back in 2024.
'Cause you got all my love, whether it rains.
It's admirable how Dick Van Dyke risked a disconnect between Coldplay's audience and his own by producing and starring in the video, which displays some of the performer's classic career moments. The reverse proved to be true. Since All My Love felt so sincere and genuine in its execution, a nice bit of connective tissue between two different generations of artists with a palpable feeling of mutual respect.
You've got all my love.
Number 9, his variety show, Van Dyke and Company.
We're going to try something a little bit different tonight on the show. I hope it works, but I need some help from the audience. Could I have 4 people who would volunteer to come down on the stage with me?
Variety shows were big business back in the 1970s, to the point where basically anybody could go on network TV with an all-singing, all-dancing comedic review. Some of these were blink-and-you-miss-them affairs, including Dick Van Dyke's own variety show from 1976.
I know what a lot of people out there are all saying. What is that old geezer doing back on television again? What does he want to do a variety show for? You know, hasn't he had enough by now? Well, believe me, the same question has popped into my mind. I ask myself, why do I want to stand out here in these hot lights in my best suit?
This doesn't speak to a lack of quality for Van Dyke and Company, however, since the show earned critical praise back in its day for combining old-school Hollywood with the new. Legends like Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball appeared on Van Dyke and Company alongside younger talent like Chevy Chase and Andy Kaufman, who made his primetime television debut on the show.
all right, little Tex, are you ready, boys? Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Number 8, an absurdist cult classic, Cold Turkey.
Our guest today is Dr. Royal Gunderson, noted specialist on things including non-smoking. Dr. Gunderson is here to tell us where we can find the release from tension, aggravation, and frustration.
Two incredibly unique creative minds met back in 1971 on the set of Cold Turkey. This was a film written and directed by the legendary Norman Lear of All in the Family fame, his only big-screen directorial credit. Dick Van Dyke leads an outstanding ensemble cast in Cold Turkey, which tells the story of a small town that's offered $25 million if the entire populace can stop smoking cigarettes for a month.
Stop smoking? You might as well ask me to stop breathing.
Well, you have that wrong, Mr. Stopworth. To continue smoking is to stop breathing.
That's a very interesting play on words, Mr. Brooks.
Lear's film received positive reviews from the likes of Roger Ebert and Vincent Canby, but was relegated to history's bin of obscurity. Luckily, word of mouth led to Cold Turkey earning a reputation as a cult classic.
Don't reach for food when you need a smoke. Reach instead for that loving helpmate, that husband, that wife. And indulge your appetite there.
Number 7, his Emmy nomination, The Morning After.
You have had enough.
Are you going to be a wet blanket? Are you happy now, sweetheart?
The made-for-television movie was another medium on the small screen that enabled a lot of unique stories to be told and delivered to a wide home audience. Dick Van Dyke was nominated for an Emmy Award back in 1974 for his work on one such TV movie, The Morning After. This tale of substance use disorder was a personal one for Van Dyke, who had sought treatment of his own concurrent with his work on the film.
That's the tough part, is to say I am an alcoholic, isn't it?
It really is. It's the hardest part of treatment. No matter how much help you have, the job is to get somebody to admit that they can't handle it. They have no control over alcohol.
The Morning After doesn't offer a neat or tidy ending to the story of Van Dyke's character. offering up a realistic depiction of one man's struggle with alcohol and how it destroys his life.
And they are never, ever gonna come back in this house because no one ever does. No! No! Oh, you...
Number 6. A return to television. Diagnosis: murder.
Alice, I'm a doctor.
A doctor? Oh, I'm proud of you, Alfred. I never imagined you'd become a doctor.
Dick Van Dyke proved that he still had what it took to carry a weekly television program back in 1993, when he starred in this spin-off from the successful crime series Jake and the Fat Man. Diagnosis: Murder utilized Van Dyke's inimitable charm to its best possible extent, as the show evolved from spin-off to television film to a full-blown successful series.
Interesting. Oh, I got something for you. Dolores, where'd you put that family album I brought in?
Van Dyke made the show a family affair since it co-starred his real-life son Barry, and often saw other relatives of its lead making guest appearances. This mystery procedural retained Dick Van Dyke's notably clean style of comedy, while never coming across as hokey or uninteresting. It was just good television.
Well, that's a good sign. Let me look at your eyes, Murray. Uh-huh. Oh, dear. Oh, it's very, very interesting.
Number 5. Me Ol' Bamboo, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Those Spanish plays inside their caves, they hide their ruddy sword. What we may do with an old bamboo, and everyone applauds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Dick Van Dyke performed the Oscar-nominated title song for his 1968 hit Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This was just one of many moments from the film that helped go on to define Van Dyke's reputation as an A-list talent.
Near, far, in a motor car, oh, what a happy time we'll spend. Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, our fine four-fendered friend.
Elsewhere, his performance on the tune Me Ol' Bamboo showcased the actor's fancy footwork, as he delivered on the scene's challenging choreography with grace and charm. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is almost always on everyone's shortlist of Dick Van Dyke movie classics, and it's easy to see why, too. Number 4. Getting Dramatic, the comic.
I know just what you're thinking. First time I saw myself on that screen, I hated it too.
I didn't hate myself. I thought I was great. Didn't you?
Every actor wants to be a success, but what happens when lightning strikes in one place and you also want to move elsewhere? Dick Van Dyke wisely escaped being typecast with 1969's The Comic, a movie directed by Carl Reiner that allowed for the funny man to get dramatic for a big screen role.
I don't think you know what's funny anymore.
I know what's funny, Al. That's funny. I want to take a little walk, Al. If they want me, they can call me.
It's the funeral of Van Dyke's character Billy Bright that sets the wheels of the comic into motion, as a flashback narrative allows Van Dyke to play multiple roles with varying moods. It was a film that didn't do well during its initial release, but has since been reevaluated as a pivotal point for Dick Van Dyke's evolution as a performer.
All that fathead had to say was stay in the frame. Stay in the frame? I saved that picture for him, didn't I?
Well...
Darn right. You know what I'm talking about?
Number 3. His film debut, Bye Bye Birdie.
What kind of a dump is this?
Conrad, let's humor him, partner. If he walks off the Sullivan Show, we're sunk.
Gotcha.
Dick Van Dyke reprised his role for the original Broadway show Bye Bye Birdie for this 1963 film adaptation, his official debut for the big screen. The movie was a huge success not only for Van Dyke, but also for co-star Anne Margaret, and featured now iconic numbers such as Put on a Happy Face.
Wipe off the full of doubt look, slap on a happy grin, and spread sunshine all over the place. Just put on a happy face.
Bye Bye Birdie helped Van Dyke prove himself as a viable movie star, enabling him to transition from success on the small screen to a career with more varied options being made available. Options that would see Dick Van Dyke be gainfully employed for the rest of his life.
When love is right, then what could be wrong? Life is one sweet, beautiful song to me.
Number 2. Chim Chim Cher-ee, Mary Poppins.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. A sweet bitch as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. Good luck, we're off when I shake hands with you.
Back-to-back hits were in the cards for Dick Van Dyke back in the early 60s, with Mary Poppins following up by Bye Birdie in 1964. Granted, Van Dyke himself has long apologized for the, let's go with broad approach he took for the Cockney accent in Mary Poppins. However, there's also no denying how songs like Chim Chim Cher-ee went on to define Dick Van Dyke's career from the early 60s, right on through to the modern day.
On the rooftops of London. What a sight.
His cameo in 2018's Mary Poppins Returns served as a reminder of his timeless appeal, and a delightful tribute from Derek Huff during The Wonderful World of Disney, Disneyland 60, shows Dick Van Dyke's lasting impact on generations of fans. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Being revealed as the Gnome, the Masked Singer. An emotional reveal.
Well, we definitely know you could sing, and Nicole, you are in tears.
I love you so much. We love you. The whole world loves you so much. It's an honor to have you on our show.
His and Tim Conway's Dance Goes Awry, The Carol Burnett Show. A chaotic and funny sketch. Doing his own stunts, Night at the Museum, Van Dyke gives life to Cecil the security guard.
A few years into the job, the three of us realized that like everything else in this museum, we got new life at night. Sundown to sunrise, we felt young again.
A soap star in his 90s, Days of Our Lives, Van Dyke received a Daytime Emmy Award at 98.
I'm the oldest nominee in history. I can't believe it. I've been playing old man all my life. If I had known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself.
A rare villain role, Dick Tracy, chewing the scenery as a corrupt DA.
I am a candidate for mayor. If you can't control Detective Tracy, you'll just have to take him off duty. Or I'll have to prosecute him and take you off duty.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. An iconic opening, The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Starring Dick Van Dyke.
The relationship between Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore wasn't just notable for the pair's on-screen chemistry during The Dick Van Dyke Show. It also spoke to how both actors helped legitimize the sitcom as a medium for compelling and entertaining storytelling.
I couldn't have been more proud.
Yep. And I learned such an important lesson from Dick, and
Which
that
was?
is, well, now it'll sound like I'm complimenting myself, which was surround yourself with the best. And the better they are, the better you'll be.
The Mary Tyler Moore Show's 70s setting may have benefited from being able to deal with more mature themes, but it was The Dick Van Dyke Show that helped make both stars back in the early 60s. The show's all-time classic opening, where Van Dyke trips over an ottoman, has been parodied by everything from Family Guy to WandaVision over the years. Almost always with love, affection, and appreciation for the Dick Van Dyke legacy.
I wish I could remember how that came about. I think probably we were clowning on the set one day, and I did some kind of a fall, and he decided to incorporate it.
What are some older classic shows or performers that continue to resonate with younger generations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.